Hey, Dan here, and this is day 7 of 30 of the ENFP reboot, and I promise you there will be some new backgrounds, some freshness, some additions brought to this 30-day challenge soon. But what I'm doing, and this does relate to the theme of the video, is trying to take baby steps. So for this first week, not only did I arrive in Spain the first day of the challenge, so that means getting, groceries and a gym and getting set up in life and everything like that. But also, we're going from publishing like one video a month to publishing 30 videos in a month and 30 podcasts. And I'm also almost finally going to be finished with this book that you may have heard me talk about and planning events, Dreams Around the World events for the rest of the year. And there'll be an announcement on that soon. So in other words, I have a million things going on. And what I've realized is very important for me to do, and this probably applies for some of you other ENFPs as well, is to focus on like one thing at a time and just say, hey, like it doesn't have to be perfect or upgraded or the best thing ever. Let's focus on actually making things happen. And then I can gradually add to it, improve it, etc. And so right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm filming where I know it's safe. There's decent lighting. The background is okay. It kind of works. It's not my favorite. I know some of you who love my old videos miss the naked woman painting. I can't just travel with it. What can I do? But here we are. And the topic of the video today is really about ENFPs and our perception of time. And this has a big effect on our productivity, our ability to finish projects, things like shiny object syndrome. All of this relates back to our perception of time. In general, ENFPs perceive time in tiny amounts. So, for example, and this is actually a fun thing you can do. You can ask your friends, your family this, say to them, how long to you is a long time? How long to you is a short time? When is soon? When is later? And get people's answers. And I guarantee you'll get answers all over the map. For some people, soon is like a year from now. Someone will say, I want to take a vacation soon. And they literally mean a year from now. My soon is like an hour from now, maybe. This is it. And generally, what I have found is, not generally, across the board really, is ENFP's perception of time is shorter. So when we want to do something, it's not like, well, in 2028, I think I would like to. No, it's now. It's this week, this month, maybe in 3 months. Now, sometimes ENFPs will say, I want to do this a year or two, but what that actually is they're too scared to do it now for a variety of reasons, or they can't wrap their head around it. So they're saying this long out time frame, but what that long time frame means for ENFPs is often never or one day. It's not actually a year. Whereas I have friends who will say, I'm going to have this vacation in 2 years, and they actually plan it for exactly 2 years. It's not a way of just pushing things into the future, into the someday realm, right? So for ENFPs, something is either now, it could be someday or never, and then if it's another time frame, it's usually like a few weeks, a few months, something like that is how we tend to think. That can cause some problems because say you start a business and in your mind, you're like, I want to be successful now or soon, and that's a couple weeks. So you start taking action and you don't quite get the results you would normally you would expect, I should say, because we have this expectation of urgency and things happening soon. But other people and other factors that involve, say, in business or success in certain ways, or even in things like physical health, don't operate as quickly, right? We can start working out and be like, yes, I'm going to be so dedicated to this diet and this routine and everything. But the body takes time to change. And probably after the first week, you're going to feel better and you'll start to feel those results. But objectively, it takes months for the body to make significant changes, right? And business is often the same way too. People you're training will take longer to learn than you think they might. You might take longer to get momentum in certain parts of business or to figure things out for yourself or to get noticed. And what can happen is because our perception of time is so short, when we're not getting results in the time we think we should, which is often not realistic and not what the market would say or what is normal. We're like, oh, I must be doing something wrong, or this is too hard, or I'm not right for this. So then we change to something else. Now, we usually don't admit we're changing. We say, like, we don't admit we're quitting, I should say. It's sort of the shiny object syndrome where we're like, yeah, I like this thing I'm doing, but this other thing is a bit better, so I'm going to move to that. And we kind of jump to that other thing, or we say like we're pivoting or whatever it is. But it's really quitting one thing to go to the next. And this is all, I think, or not all, but a big part of that is our perception of time. If you think everything has to happen quickly, then you get frustrated sooner and then quit sooner because you're not getting the results you think you should get, and you take that as a sign you're doing the wrong thing, but really you're doing the right thing. It just takes a little more time than you would have anticipated. And so the longer you do things, the more life experience you have, the more you realize like, oh, actually it takes longer for things to happen and all that. Something that really helped me on this, and I will link to an older video of mine, I believe with the naked lady in the background. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's a painting, okay, YouTube? It's allowed to be in the background. It's art. I talk about this in a bit more detail, but something that helped me with this was this phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, which is something that I learned when I went to motorcycle school. It sounds so funny, motorcycle school. Like, I don't know why it sounds funny. And they had been trained by these special forces, I think it's Navy SEALs, who taught them this saying. And the concept is, if you try to rush things, you will panic, you will do things too quickly, you will make mistakes, you won't be smooth, and it will actually take longer. So imagine, reloading a gun or whatever it is, right? Preparing your gear. If you're rushing, you'll make mistakes, it takes too long. And that totally is what I've experienced myself, but I also see it in other people where they're trying to do things too quickly and then they make all these mistakes and then it ends up taking way longer than it would actually take. So that applies on an hour by hour basis, but it also applies in the big picture. If you're always trying to rush things and like finish this project super quick and then it doesn't get done because you jump to the next thing and the next thing, you might look back over an entire year of your life or decade and be like, I didn't actually accomplish that much. And I've had this experience. I've had times in my life where I've mostly focused on one thing at a time. And over a year, I've published multiple books, launched businesses, done really things that I'm very proud of. And then I have other years I look back and I'm like, I remember being busy. I remember I was like working on this thing and that thing, and I made some money, but I don't really know what I accomplished. And it was the times when I was not being slow as smooth, smooth as fast. I was jumping around to too many things or not having a clear sort of plan to it all. Planning and ENFPs is a topic for another day though. So the challenge for this video today is just to go and ask people in your life, ask at least 5 people, what is soon to them? What is a long way? Like, what is soon? What is a long time? What is a short time? Get a perception of how people think of time and start to maybe use that phrase for yourself if you find it to be a helpful one. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. To remind yourself that actually there's a lot of time in the day, there's a lot of days in the year, and if you slow down and do one thing at a time and do it well, and that doesn't mean you can't work quickly and obsess over it and all that great ENFP stuff too. But if you just do that, there's actually tons of time to get a lot of projects done in a month or in a year. Where we get into trouble is when we're jumping from one project to this project to this project and doing all these different things at once. Or like we do one for a month but don't finish it, then the next for a month and don't finish it. And yes, I do realize, as I say this at the beginning of the video when I was describing what I'm up to right now, it is a little bit like that in my life right now. But fortunately at this moment, I have some great business partners who are sort of leading with some of these different things and that. So anyhow, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. And happy Easter, by the way, or Good Friday. I don't know what you say on the Friday of Easter. I'm pretty sure it's the Friday of Easter. See you.